I found my face on a missing person flyer my boyfriend made. He told the world I was unstable, dangerous, already gone. While I was still breathing, he was rehearsing my disappearance. He thought he could erase me quietly. He forgot I could rewrite him louder. It was 7:42 a.m. when I saw it. Fog on the windshield, mud on my boots, the kind of cold that clings inside your coat and settles behind your knees. I had just finished pumping gas at the corner of Edison and 14th, Shell station with one flickering overhead light and a cracked freezer labeled bagged ice. I was walking back to my car when I noticed the flyer stapled to the old telephone pole beside the propane tank cage. The paper was thin, cheap, ink already bleeding at the edges from last night's drizzle. It peeled slightly in the wind like it didn't want to be there. And I reached out and tore it free and stared into my own eyes. The photo was from about a year ago, sweaty, smiling, mid-hike at Chimney Rock, hair tied up in a bandana, little scar above my left eyebrow from falling off my childhood bike. It was me. No question. Except under the photo, it said, "Missing Christina Monroe, age 26, last seen near downtown Asheville. My name is Christina, with a K." I stood there, blinking. The gas nozzle thunked back into its slot behind me. Someone's dog barked inside an idling pickup. None of it felt real. There was a coffee stain on the upper right corner, still warm when I touched it. My boyfriend, Caleb, drank that exact brand, Black Rifle Espresso 300, vanilla caramel. He always left the cup in my cup holder. Sometimes I'd tease him for the slogans, freedom fueled, printed like some Soldier of Fortune ad. I didn't drive home. I drove to his apartment. Caleb was still asleep, wrapped like a burrito in my old UNCA hoodie. He smelled like sleep and citrus body wash. I held the flyer above his face. Me. "Is this some kind of joke?" He blinked. Squinted. Caleb. "What the hell is that?" Me. "You tell me." He sat up, rubbed his eyes. Caleb. "It's a prank, babe. Chill. My buddy Brian dared me. We were drunk." I didn't laugh. He reached for the flyer. I stepped back. Caleb. "Come on, seriously, it's just a dumb thing. I made like 5 of them. Thought you'd find it funny." Me. "Where are the rest?" Caleb. "Toss them." He looked down, scratched his chest. Caleb. "Didn't mean to freak you out." I watched his eyes. Too calm. There was no apology, just performance. Christina. "Why'd you spell my name wrong?" He paused. Half a beat too long. Caleb. "Autocorrect?" We both knew he was lying. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the flyer, my face, a stranger's name, a date I didn't recognize. I tried to tell myself he was just immature, that Caleb, for all his 6-foot charm and Midwestern dimples, had a dumb side. That maybe this really was a drunken dare gone too far. But there was something else. When I pulled into my own apartment complex that night, Sycamore Oaks, Building C, there was a second flyer, pinned behind the glass of the mailbox board. Same photo, same typo, no coffee stain. I didn't take it down. I just stood there in the cold, wondering how many people had seen my face and thought I was gone. And I didn't sleep that night. I barely breathed. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Christina. I'm 26 years old, and this is what really happened. You ever feel like someone's rewriting your life while you're still living it? Like waking up inside someone else's diary? That's what this became. Not a breakup. Not even a betrayal. It was a slow deletion of everything I thought was mine. It started with a flyer, and it got worse. Because Caleb wasn't just playing games, he was rehearsing something. I went to work the next morning like nothing happened. That was my first mistake. The air inside the office smelled like burnt printer paper and cheap cinnamon creamer. And the kind you find in a break room fridge next to expired yogurt and someone's sad leftover salad. I worked reception at a small insurance office downtown. Nothing glamorous, just phones, paperwork, and pretending people didn't scream at me over deductibles. I was halfway through sorting mail when my coworker Jenna leaned over my desk. Jenna. "Hey, are you okay?" Her voice was careful, like she was talking to someone who might break. I froze. Me. Yeah. Why? She hesitated, then she pulled out her phone. Jenna. I saw something in a group chat last night. She turned the screen toward me. It was a photo, a missing person flyer, not the one from the gas station. This one was cleaner, brighter, like it had been edited, cropped, sharpened. The photo was still mine, but the text was different. Ye missing, Christina Monroe. Possible mental health episode if found, do not approach alone. I stared at the words until they blurred. Do not approach alone. Like I was violent, like I was unstable, like I was a threat. My throat tightened. Me. Where did you get this? Jenna. My cousin sent it. She lives near Hendersonville. She said it was posted in their neighborhood group. I took her phone and scrolled. There were comments under it. People I didn't know. That's so sad. Hope she's okay. She looks like she's on something. My sister went missing like this. Check the shelters. She could be dangerous if she's manic. I could feel my skin buzzing. It wasn't fear exactly. It was humiliation. Like someone had stripped me in public and called it concern. I handed the phone back slowly. Then me. That's not real. Jenna's eyebrows lifted. Jenna. Wait, what do you mean? Me. I'm not missing. She gave me a look like I just said the sky was green. Jenna. Christina, this is literally you. I forced a laugh. It came out wrong. Thin and sharp. Me. Yeah, I know, it's a prank. My boyfriend did it. Jenna blinked. Jenna. Your boyfriend? Did what? I didn't answer. Because the moment I said it out loud, it sounded insane. And the worst part? It didn't sound like something Caleb would do for fun. It sounded like something someone would do on purpose. I spent the rest of my shift pretending I wasn't shaking. I answered calls, smiled at clients, typed in policy numbers, signed for FedEx packages. But every time the office door opened, my body reacted, like someone might walk in and grab me. Like someone might look at me and think, she's the missing girl. At lunch, I sat in my car in the parking lot and searched my name. Not Christina. Christina. Christina Monroe, missing Asheville. I expected nothing. Maybe one post. Maybe a blurry Facebook share. But what came up made my stomach drop. A Reddit thread, posted 3 weeks ago. The title was, My coworker disappeared after a mental breakdown. Police aren't taking it seriously. I clicked it. My fingers were cold. The post was long, detailed, written like a confession. It described Christina as sweet, quiet, emotionally fragile. It claimed she'd been spiraling for months. It said she'd stopped showing up to work, that she'd been talking about starting over. And then it ended with a line that made my pulse stutter. If anyone sees her, please contact Buncombe County Clerk's Office, case number 2024-17823. I read it twice, 3 times. My eyes locked on that case number like it was a gun pointed at my face. It sounded official. It sounded real. It sounded like something you couldn't fake. I clicked the user profile. The account was new, only one post, no comments, no history, just that thread. And the name of the account was something that felt like a punch. Blue Ridge Truth 22. Caleb had a Blue Ridge tattoo on his right shoulder. He got it last summer after a weekend trip. Said it represented freedom. I suddenly felt nauseous. I closed the Reddit page and leaned forward, gripping my steering wheel until my knuckles whitened. This wasn't a prank. Not anymore. A prank doesn't come with a case number. A prank doesn't involve strangers discussing your mental health like you're a missing dog. A prank doesn't make you feel like you're slowly being erased. When my shift ended, I drove straight to Target. I didn't even need anything, but I couldn't go home yet. Home felt unsafe, like it was already compromised. I walked through the aisles under fluorescent lights that made everyone look tired and pale. I passed the Valentine's Day clearance section, then the electronics, then the bedding aisle, and I noticed something. A woman in a denim jacket, standing at the end of the aisle, watching me. At first I told myself it was nothing. Target was always full of people, moms with carts, teenagers filming TikToks, couples arguing over which detergent smelled cleaner. But when I moved to another aisle, she moved too. Not fast. Not obvious. Just following. I stopped by the Starbucks kiosk inside the store and pretended to check my phone. The smell of espresso hit my nose, warm and bitter. I looked up. She was still there. She didn't have a cart, didn't have a drink. She was just standing near the gift cards, staring at me like she was trying to decide if I was real. My heart didn't race. It sank. Because deep down, I knew what she was thinking. She was thinking, is that the missing girl? I walked quickly toward the front of the store. I didn't run. I refused to look panicked. I kept my shoulders straight, my steps measured. But the whole time, I could feel eyes on me. Not just hers, other people's too. A man by the checkout line glanced at me longer than normal. A teenage boy nudged his friend and whispered something, which I made it to my car and locked the doors immediately. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't get the key into the ignition. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Caleb. Caleb. Hey, babe. You coming over tonight? I'm making tacos. Tacos. Like my entire identity wasn't being dragged through the internet. Like my face wasn't taped to poles. Like strangers weren't being warned not to approach me alone. I stared at the message until my vision blurred. Then I typed back. Me. Did you post anything online about me? The 3 dots appeared almost instantly, then disappeared, then appeared again, then nothing. 30 seconds passed. A minute. Finally, a reply. Caleb. What? No. Why would I do that? My stomach twisted. Because he answered too quickly, not confused, not shocked, just defensive. I drove home. But I didn't park in my usual spot. I parked around the corner, behind the dumpster enclosure, where the security camera didn't reach. I hated that I knew that. I hated that I was already thinking like someone who needed to hide. When I walked toward my building, I kept my head down. The air smelled like damp leaves and car exhaust. Somewhere nearby, a dog barked. Someone's TV blared through a thin apartment wall. Normal sounds, normal life. But my body wasn't normal anymore. My body was on alert. And then I saw it. Another flyer. This one taped to the community board near the pool entrance. Same photo, same wrong name. But this time, the bottom line was different. It wasn't a phone number. It wasn't call police. It was a website, a short URL. I stepped closer. My breath fogged the plastic cover. Yet the website read, findchristinanow.com. My fingers hovered over it like it might burn me. Then I pulled out my phone, typed it in. The page loaded instantly. White background, a bold headline. Help us bring Christina home. Under it was my photo, then a paragraph. It described me like I was a tragedy. It said I'd been struggling, that I'd been acting erratically, that I'd made concerning statements about disappearing. And then came the donation link. GoFundMe, Search and Rescue Fund. I stared at the screen. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe, because someone had built a whole narrative around my disappearance, and they were already collecting money for it. I scrolled down. There were updates, each one dated, each one written like a grieving friend. Update number 1, Christina's boyfriend has been cooperative. Update number 2, we are working with local authorities. Update number 3, please keep sharing. Christina may be confused and scared. My hands started trembling again. Then I saw a line that made my blood turn to ice. If you have seen Christina near Sycamore Oaks Apartments, please notify us immediately. My apartment complex, my building, my home address wasn't listed, but it didn't need to be. Anyone local would know exactly where that was. My chest tightened. I looked around the courtyard. A couple was walking their dog. A little kid rode a scooter in circles. Everything looked normal. But suddenly, every neighbor felt like a stranger. Every passing car felt like a threat. Because now it wasn't just flyers. It wasn't just whispers. It was an entire digital search party. And I was the missing person, while I was still alive. I ripped the flyer off the board so hard the tape snapped. Then I marched upstairs. When I reached my door, I noticed something stuck to the frame. A Post-it note. Bright yellow. Sloppy handwriting. "We're praying for you." I stared at it, then slowly turned my head toward the hallway. My neighbors' doors were closed, but I could feel something. Not sound, not movement, just awareness. Like the building itself was watching me. I unlocked my door and stepped inside. My apartment smelled like laundry detergent and the lavender candle I always forgot to blow out properly. I shut the door behind me and locked it. Then I leaned against it and slid down to the floor. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there staring at my own trembling hands. Because a terrifying thought was forming in my mind, clear as a siren. If people believed I was missing, then nobody would question it if I disappeared. And Caleb, my boyfriend, the man who kissed my forehead every morning, the man who said he loved my laugh. He wasn't acting like someone who made a stupid joke. He was acting like someone preparing the world to accept a version of reality where I no longer existed. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Caleb. "Caleb, babe, you're being weird. Did you take the flyers down? Don't overreact." My fingers hovered over the screen. I didn't respond. I opened my laptop instead, logged into my email, and started searching for something. Anything. Proof. Because at that moment, one thing became obvious. If I didn't gather evidence now, I wouldn't have a story later. I would just become a headline, a picture on a pole, a girl everyone swore they cared about after she vanished. I clicked the Reddit link again, and this time, I noticed something I missed before. A small detail at the bottom of the post, a timestamp, and a location tag. It said the post was made from an IP address in my neighborhood, not across town, not out of state, not from some random stranger, from right here, from within walking distance of my apartment. I stared at that line until my eyes burned. Then I heard my phone ring. Caleb. His name flashed across the screen. I didn't answer. The ringing kept going, over and over, like he needed to make sure I picked up, like he needed to hear my voice, to confirm something. I let it ring until it stopped. Then a voicemail notification appeared. I didn't play it. I just sat there, listening to the silence, because silence was safer than hearing his voice right then. And through my window, down in the parking lot, I saw his car pull in, a gray Honda Civic, familiar, comforting, except now it looked like a predator wearing a friendly face. He parked, got out, and looked up at my window, like he already knew I was home. Then he smiled, not warm, not loving, just satisfied, like he'd found something he'd been searching for, and I realized with a cold clarity that made my stomach flip. Caleb wasn't worried about me. He was making sure I was still here, still available, still part of his plan. His phone buzzed again. A text, not to me. I could see it from the way his head tilted down, and then he typed back quickly. Fast thumbs, no hesitation. Like he was responding to someone who mattered more than I did. Then he looked up again and walked toward my building. I backed away from the window, my breath shallow, my pulse steady but heavy, like a drum. Because I knew what was coming. He was about to knock, and I was about to have to pretend I didn't know. Pretend I wasn't terrified. Pretend I wasn't already becoming the missing girl on his flyer. The doorknob jiggled. Then came the knock. 3 taps. Slow, controlled. Caleb's voice floated through the door. "Caleb. Christina. Open up." I didn't move. Then he said something softer, something almost sweet. "Caleb. Come on, babe. Don't make this a thing." And I sat there on the floor, staring at the locked door, because suddenly I understood something terrifying. The flyers weren't meant to scare me. They were meant to train everyone else, to believe the version of me Caleb wanted them to believe. So if I ever told the truth, nobody would trust it. The knocking didn't stop. Not loud, not frantic, just steady, measured, like he had all the time in the world. "Caleb. Christina, I can see your car." I stayed on the floor, my back against the door, my palms flat on the hardwood. The hallway light outside flickered under the crack at the bottom. His shadow moved once, then stilled. "Caleb, you're scaring me." That almost made me laugh. Instead, I stood slowly and walked to the kitchen. The apartment felt smaller than it ever had, the air thicker. My phone buzzed again. A text. Caleb, why are you acting like this? Another buzz. Caleb, did someone say something to you? I stared at the screen. Yet he wasn't asking what was wrong. He was checking what I knew. There's a difference. I walked quietly to the window and peeked through the blinds. He was still there. Hands in pockets, casual stance, like a boyfriend waiting to be let in, not like someone who might be constructing my disappearance online. The knocking stopped. Silence, then footsteps retreating down the hall. I waited 30 full seconds before checking again. He was gone, but his car was still parked below. I didn't relax. I just moved. I grabbed my laptop and sat at the kitchen table. The overhead light hummed faintly. I turned it off and switched to the small lamp near the sink instead. I pulled up the website again. FindChristinaNow.com. This time, I didn't read it emotionally. I read it strategically. There was a footer at the bottom of the page. Small gray text. Site created with Quick Page Builder. Under that, a link. Admin login. My breath slowed. I clicked it. A login box popped up. Username. Password. I stared at it. Then I opened a new tab and Googled Quick Page Builder default login. Nothing useful. I leaned back in my chair. Think. Caleb reused passwords. He joked about it all the time. Why make new ones when I barely remember the old ones? His favorite password was always some variation of Blue Ridge 2019 or Freedom 22 or Civic Life. I tried. Blue Ridge 22. Incorrect. I tried Blue Ridge Truth. Incorrect. I tried Freedom Fueled. Incorrect. Then I paused. Christina. With a C. He spelled my name wrong on purpose. I typed Christina 22. Password. Blue Ridge 22. The screen blinked, loaded, and opened. My stomach dropped so hard it felt physical. Then the admin dashboard appeared. There were tabs, posts, updates, donations, user access. Under user access, there were 3 accounts listed. Admin, Blue Ridge Truth, 22, moderator, Mountain Watch, NC contributor, concerned friend, AVL, all created within the last month. My hands felt numb. He didn't just make a website. He made characters, voices, an entire community around my disappearance. I clicked on donations. $3,420 raised. From strangers. From people who believed a version of me that didn't exist. There were comments attached to donations. Praying for you, sweet girl. Hope she's found safe. Mental health is serious. Don't give up. I swallowed hard. He wasn't just erasing me. He was profiting from it. The refrigerator hummed behind me. The air vent kicked on with a low whir. And everything in the apartment sounded amplified. Every small noise made my nerves jump. I clicked on the most recent update. It was time-stamped earlier that afternoon, while I was at work. Update number 4. Christina may attempt to deny her identity if approached. Please contact authorities immediately. She may not recognize familiar people. I stared at that sentence. She may attempt to deny her identity. That wasn't random. That was preparation. That was insulation. If I told someone this was fake, they'd think it was proof of instability. He had built a trap. Not physical. Narrative. A cage made of perception. There's something terrifying about being rewritten. It's quiet. It's bloodless. But it steals you piece by piece. I closed the laptop gently, then reopened it, and started taking screenshots. Everything. The dashboard, the user accounts, the donation totals, the timestamps. I emailed them to myself, then forwarded them to a new Gmail account I created on the spot. Name, Christina Monroe. Real password. Something he would never guess. My fingers moved quickly now. Fear had shifted into something colder, focused. If he was rehearsing my disappearance, then I would document his rehearsal. My phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. I finally pressed play. Caleb's voice filled the kitchen. Caleb, hey, I don't know what's going on with you, but this isn't funny. If you're trying to make me look bad, just stop. Call me. Make him look bad. Not concern, control. I deleted the voicemail. Then I opened Reddit again. The thread about Christina had new comments. Someone had linked the website. Someone else had posted a screenshot of the flyer near Sycamore Oaks. One comment caught my eye. User, Mountain Watch NC. Her boyfriend has been cooperative. He's devastated. My jaw tightened. He was narrating his own innocence. I clicked on Mountain Watch NC, another new account. No history, just posts about me, or the fictional me he'd created. I switched to incognito mode and searched the IP lookup tools. It wasn't precise, but the Reddit thread and the website both pointed to a similar geographic region, within 2 miles, within walking distance, within my life. I leaned back in my chair. Outside, a car door slammed. Voices echoed faintly in the parking lot. I moved to the window again, just slightly lifting the blind. Caleb was still down there, leaning against his car now, on his phone, waiting. He wasn't leaving until he saw me open the door, or until he decided to escalate. I felt something settle inside me. Not panic, not helplessness, clarity. He thought he was ahead. He thought he was writing the script, but he didn't know I'd found the control panel, and I wasn't going to confront him. Not yet. If I accused him now, he'd delete everything. He'd play concerned boyfriend. He'd cry. He'd hug me. He'd say I was spiraling, and people would believe him, because he'd already planted the seed. So instead, I did something simple. I texted him. Me. I'm sorry, I've just been overwhelmed. The reply came instantly. Caleb. See? I knew something was wrong. Let me help you. Help me. The word felt poisoned. I typed again. Me. Can we talk tomorrow? I need space tonight. A pause, then, Caleb. Okay. I love you. 3 words, heavy, calculated. I didn't answer. Outside, he finally got into his car. The engine started. The headlights flickered on. He sat there for a moment, then drove away. I watched until the tail lights disappeared at the end of the lot. Only then did I let myself breathe fully. Only then did I whisper something out loud. Not anymore. I wasn't going to be the missing girl. I wasn't going to be the unstable girlfriend. I wasn't going to be the narrative he rehearsed. If he wanted to simulate my disappearance, I would simulate something else. His exposure. And this time, I would control the story. Because here's what I understood that night. You can erase someone slowly, but you can't erase evidence. And I had just found the first crack in his performance. I barely slept that night. Not because I was afraid, because I was planning. There's a strange kind of stillness that settles in when you realize you're not the hunted anymore. You're the one setting the trap. You think more clearly. You move with intention. Your body stops shaking. Not because it's over, because you know it's just beginning. By morning, I had 3 burner email accounts, a Google Drive folder with every screenshot I could find, and a flash drive loaded with time-stamped screen recordings. I made 2 copies. One stayed taped under my bathroom sink. The other I mailed to my sister in Virginia. No return address, just a note that said, "Don't open unless I go missing, IK." At 9:12 a.m., I texted Caleb, me, "Can we get coffee later? I want to talk." He replied less than a minute later, "Caleb, yes, you okay?" Me, just confused. I want to understand. Caleb, 1 p.m., same spot? We always met at Union Brew, a locally owned cafe off Biltmore Avenue. Wooden tables, overpriced cold brew, the kind of place where everyone wears beanies and types novels they'll never finish. Perfect setting for controlled chaos. I arrived first, ordered a chai, picked the table in the far back corner where I could see both the door and the street through the window. My hands were steady, my pulse normal. He arrived 2 minutes early, wearing a denim jacket and that same easy smile that had once made me feel safe. Caleb, "Hey you." He leaned down to kiss my cheek. I turned my head slightly, let it land near my jaw, let him feel the shift. He sat across from me, opened his hands like an offering. Caleb, "So, what's going on?" I sipped my drink, watched him. He was good, knew calm, concerned, just enough space in his tone to make me feel like maybe I was the one who overreacted. Me, I've been seeing things online, stuff about me. He raised an eyebrow. Caleb. What kind of stuff? I shrugged. Me. Reddit threads, Facebook posts, flyers. He tilted his head. Caleb. People are weird. You know how things spread. I kept my voice soft. Me. You swear you didn't post anything? He looked me in the eye. Caleb. Of course not. Why would I? I held his gaze. Me. What about the website? He blinked. Just once. Caleb. What website? Me. FindChristinaNow.com. Half a beat. Then he laughed. Caleb. That's real? Someone actually made a site? Me. It's got donation links. He leaned back. Caleb. Babe. If someone's making money off this, we should report it. He said we, like we were still a team. Me. I looked up the admin info. His smile faltered. Me. The creator's account is called Blue Ridge Truth 22. He looked down at his hands. A pause. Then, Caleb. Okay. So maybe I started it, but it wasn't malicious. I didn't react. Me. Then what was it? He leaned forward, dropped his voice. Caleb. It was performance art. I blinked. Me. What? Caleb. I was exploring an idea, the concept of perception, of digital reality. What happens when someone disappears online before they disappear in real life? I just stared at him. Me. You're calling it art? Caleb. I was going to tell you, I just needed to see how people reacted. It was like social commentary. Me. You faked my mental breakdown. Caleb. I didn't fake anything. I exaggerated a narrative. There's a difference. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I sat there and sipped my chai. Let him think he was still the protagonist. Caleb. I can take it all down. Me. You raised money. Caleb. I'll refund it. Me. People think I'm unstable. Caleb. They'll forget. People always forget. I tilted my head. Me. Have you done this before? He blinked. Too fast. Me. Have there been other girls? Silence. Me. Caleb? He looked away. Caleb. Not like this. Which meant yes. I stood slowly. Me. I need time. Caleb. Christina. Me. Don't contact me. Caleb. Wait. Me. You should go home. There's a package waiting for you. He froze. Me. It's from concerned friend AVL. His lips parted. I leaned close. Me. There's a flash drive in it. With everything. I didn't wait for his response. I walked out. My legs didn't shake. Not even a little. That night, I unlocked the storage bin in my closet, pulled out the shoebox marked Old Tech. Inside was a cracked iPhone 6. Still had my old texts, photos, notes. I charged it, reset the passcode, and hid it under my mattress. Then I went into Caleb's old things, stuff he left at my place. Buried in the back of my closet was a jacket I hadn't seen in months. I checked the pockets, found a flash drive. It had a sticker on it. 2 letters, KM, my initials. I plugged it into my laptop. There were 4 folders. Folder 1, voice clips. Folder 2, maps. Folder 3, scripts. Folder 4, logs. My vision narrowed. The voice clips were me, clips from old videos, voicemails, voice memos, edited, cut, spliced into new sentences, sentences I never said. I don't want to be found. Sometimes I feel like disappearing. If something happens, don't believe anyone. The maps folder had pins, my work, my gym, my favorite cafe, his apartment, and a red one labeled Final. The location, Pisgah Forest Trailhead, a remote hiking spot we went to once. No signal. The scripts were chilling. Fake texts, sample dialogue, instructions like, say she was acting off last time you saw her. Mention her talking about starting fresh. The logs were dates, times, entries labeled flyer drop, Facebook share, donation spike. It was a timeline, not of my disappearance, of the simulation of it. I copied everything, sent it to my backup emails, then printed hard copies and put them in a manila envelope. Tomorrow, I'd go to the county clerk's office, file a report. And open a case number 2024-20311, a counter-narrative. Because if Caleb wanted to write a fiction, I'd show the receipts of the real story and expose the author. The county clerk's office looked like every government building I'd ever been in. Neutral walls, bad lighting, old chairs that creaked under your weight. The kind of place where time didn't just pass, it stalled. Everyone in line either looked exhausted, confused, or both. I clutched the manila envelope to my chest like it was the only real thing tethering me to my life. A woman in a navy sweater called my number. Clerk. Number 38? I stood, walked to the counter, me. Hi, I need to file a report. I'm not missing, but someone is pretending I am. Her expression didn't change. Clerk. Have you contacted law enforcement? Me. Not yet. Yet I wanted this documented first. She slid a form toward me. Clerk. Fill this out, sign the affidavit, I'll notarize it. I nodded. The form asked for my name, address, date of birth, and reason for report. I wrote it all out. Under nature of incident, I printed in block letters, digital defamation/false missing person, claim/fraudulent fundraising. She watched me fill it in, then said flatly, Clerk, you know there's a process for this, right? If you're saying someone staged your disappearance, it becomes criminal once there's money involved. Me. There is money involved. Thousands. She paused. Clerk, do you have proof? I slid the flash drive across the counter. Me. Everything's on here. Website admin data. GoFundMe records, voice clip manipulation, Reddit threads traced to his IP. And I also brought hard copies. She took the drive, tapped the keyboard. Clerk, you'll want to attach this to a pre-existing case or open a new one. We have one already flagged under the name Christina Monroe. My stomach tightened. Me. That's the fake name. Clerk, you're not listed as the complainant on that file. Me. I know, he is. She studied me for a moment, then said, Clerk, let me get my supervisor. 10 minutes later, I was sitting in a back room with a woman named Trina Lopez. Her badge read, Senior Intake Officer. Trina, walk me through it, slowly. So I did. I told her about the flyers, the wrong spelling, the website, the GoFundMe, the burner accounts, the script files, everything. She took notes, asked smart questions, and didn't flinch when I showed her the folder labeled Final Location. Trina, has he ever threatened you? Me, no. Trina, ever hit you? Me, no. Trina, ever isolated you from family or friends? Me, not exactly, but he tracks things. Trina, like what? Me, my routines, my roots. He notices when I change something, he gets anxious. She nodded. Trina, this is a pattern. It's digital coercion, narrative gaslighting. He's building a case in public before he acts privately. Me, so I'm not crazy. Trina, you're ahead of the curve. She printed a statement form. Trina, this will open a new case file. Separate from his. You'll have control over it. Case number 2024-20311. Your name, your words, your documentation. She stamped the page. Trina, this puts you on record legally, permanently. I exhaled. It was the first real breath I'd taken in days. I left the clerk's office with copies of everything, stopped by the pharmacy to pick up a new burner phone, and when I got home, I made a decision. If Caleb was going to simulate my disappearance, I would simulate distance. I called my mom in Roanoke, told her I needed to visit. Didn't explain much, just said I needed a break from Asheville. She welcomed me with open arms and warm casseroles. I packed 2 bags, left my apartment looking lived in but empty, turned off my phone and left it under the bed, and drove out of town before sunset. But I didn't go to Roanoke. I parked 2 towns over, checked into a cheap Airbnb under a different name, and watched everything unfold from behind a screen. Because once Caleb realized I was gone, he'd do something. He always did. It took less than 24 hours. By morning, the Find Christina Now page had an update. She's officially missing. Police informed. Case now active. Please keep sharing. The GoFundMe total jumped by $1,200 overnight. I logged it, screenshot every donation, tracked the IP ping on the admin dashboard I still had access to. He hadn't changed the password. Amateur mistake. I messaged concerned friend AVL from a dummy Reddit account. Me, have you heard from her? I think I saw her in Black Mountain. The reply came 2 hours later. Concerned friend AVL. Can you describe what she was wearing? He was still playing, still believing the script was his. So I fed it. Me, baggy gray hoodie, sunglasses, walking fast. He posted an update right after. Possible sighting near Black Mountain. Keep eyes open. I added it to the file. I labeled the screenshots, created a Google Doc titled Narrative Control Log. By day 3, he posted something different. I think I messed up. That was the subject line of a new Reddit thread under a different account. Appalachian Soul 22. It was him. I knew the phrasing, the punctuation, the performance. In the post, he described loving someone who vanished and trying to raise awareness and being accused of faking things. He was pre-spinning the backlash, planting seeds of doubt before the real story came out. I didn't reply. I saved it, date-stamped it, then forwarded everything to Trina. Subject line, Phase 2 begins. On the 5th day, my landlord called. Voicemail. Hi, Christina. Just wanted to check in. Your boyfriend said you were dealing with a family emergency. Everything okay? He was covering his tracks, keeping people calm, but it was slipping, because 2 hours later, I got a DM from Jenna. Jenna, hey, not trying to freak you out, but Caleb told people at work you checked into a hospital. That true? I called her. Me. No, I didn't. Jenna. What the hell is he doing? Me. Telling stories. Jenna. Do you want me to say something? Me. Not yet. Just listen. Document. Don't engage. Jenna. You got it. And just like that, I had my first witness, my first confirmed ally, because when people try to make you disappear, they count on your silence. But silence is a strategy, and I was collecting echoes. That night, I returned to Asheville, wearing a hoodie and a baseball cap. I parked 2 streets over from my apartment and walked the rest of the way. And there were new flyers up, on the community board, on the mailboxes, one taped to my own door, same image, new text, please help, she may not know who she is. I peeled it off carefully, folded it into my pocket, then entered my apartment and relocked the door. Everything was untouched, exactly as I left it, except one thing, a small white envelope on my kitchen counter. No stamp, just my name. Inside was a note, sloppy handwriting, like he wrote it fast. I miss you. Please come back. I was just trying to help you disappear the way you said you always wanted. I thought I was giving you what you wanted. I stared at the words. What I wanted. He thought he was granting me a wish, like vanishing was some kind of favor. He wasn't just manipulating perception. He was rewriting my desires, my autonomy, my history. But now, I had the script, and I was going to flip the ending. The night air felt colder when I stepped back inside my apartment. Not temperature cold, emotional cold, like the walls had been listening while I was gone. I locked the door, deadbolt, chain, chair under the knob. Then I sat at the kitchen table with the envelope in front of me. I was just trying to help you disappear the way you said you always wanted. I replayed every conversation we'd ever had, every vulnerable moment, every offhand comment. Once, after a brutal shift at work, I'd said, I wish I could just disappear for a while. Not forever, not literally, just a sigh, a vent. He'd turned that into a blueprint. There's something horrifying about realizing someone archived your pain for future use. Yeah, and I opened my laptop and logged into the admin dashboard again. He had changed nothing, still confident, still convinced I didn't know. There was a new update draft saved, not posted yet. The title read, Police Expanding Search Area. Under it, a paragraph claiming authorities were now checking wooded areas outside city limits. And then, the red pin, Pisgah Forest. The final location from his maps folder. My stomach dropped. This wasn't random storytelling anymore. This was escalation. He was preparing the audience for a discovery, or the absence of one. I opened the donation tab. $6,982, nearly $7,000. There were larger contributions now, $500, $750, anonymous. Someone had commented, "Her boyfriend seems so devoted, hope she's found safe." I almost laughed. Devoted. He was curating sympathy, positioning himself as the grieving hero. I downloaded the full donation report, then opened my narrative control log, added a new section, escalation indicators, physical staging imminent. The refrigerator kicked on behind me. I flinched anyway. Then my phone vibrated, a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again, same number. I answered this time. Me. Hello? Male voice. Hi, is this Christina? I went still. Me. Who's calling? Male voice. This is Officer Daniels with Buncombe County. We've received a tip about your location. I closed my eyes. Me. Officer Daniels, I'm not missing. Silence. Then, Officer Daniels. Ma'am, we have an active missing persons inquiry filed by your partner. Me. And I filed a counter report, case number 2024-20311. Papers rustled on his end. Officer Daniels. Yes, I see that here. His tone shifted, less authoritative, more cautious. Officer Daniels. Can you confirm you're safe? Me. I'm safe. I'm at my apartment. Another pause. Officer Daniels. There's been significant online activity. Donations, public concern. This has gained traction. Me. I know. Officer Daniels. If this is a domestic dispute, we need clarity. Me. It's not a dispute, it's fabrication. He exhaled slowly. Officer Daniels. Understood. We'll update the file. But you may want to consider a protective order. Protective order. The words felt heavy. Legal. Real. Me. I will. When the call ended, I sat there for a long time. He had involved the police. He had made it official. That meant one thing. He believed he could control the outcome. I stood and walked to my bedroom and opened the closet, pulled out the shoebox again. Inside, beneath the old iPhone, was something else, a small black notebook. Caleb's handwriting covered the front. I flipped it open. Dates, observations, my schedule. Gym, MWF 6:30 a.m. Calls mom Sundays 8 p.m. Works late Thursdays. Trail preference, less crowded routes. It wasn't romantic, it was surveillance. One page stopped me. It was titled, Break Point. Under it, push narrative gradually, introduce instability, remove support, create confusion, then offer rescue. Offer rescue. He wanted to be the solution to a problem he created. I felt heat rise in my chest. Not fear, rage, but controlled, contained. Because anger is loud, and I needed to be quiet. I grabbed my phone and texted Jenna. At me. Has Caleb said anything new at work? Jenna replied 5 minutes later. Jenna. Yeah, he came by today, told your boss you've been struggling. He cried. It was weird. Cried. He was rehearsing grief. I typed back, me. If he says anything else, record it. 3 dots appeared. Jenna. You think he's dangerous? I stared at that question. Me. I think he wants control. Which, in some ways, is worse. That evening, I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait for him to stage the forest. I was going to accelerate the collapse. I logged into the admin panel, opened a new draft, and wrote an update myself. Title, Clarification. Body, Christina has been located and is safe. The online campaign was initiated without her consent. Legal action is pending. I didn't post it. Not yet. Instead, I scheduled it. 2 days from now, at 9 a.m. peak engagement time. Then I changed one setting. I enabled email notifications for all donors. When that post went live, every person who gave money would receive it. Simultaneously, no warning, no time for him to intercept. I logged out, closed the laptop, and finally let myself cry. Not loudly, just quietly. Because here's the thing about revenge. It's not dramatic. It's meticulous. It's paperwork. It's timestamps. It's knowing when to press publish. Outside, thunder rolled faintly over the mountains, a storm moving in. I checked the window. Streetlights flickered on. Cars moved slowly through wet pavement, and across the parking lot, I saw something that made my breath catch. Caleb's car, parked again, engine off, lights off, just sitting there watching. I turned off my apartment lights, stayed still. Minutes passed. Then his car door opened. He stepped out, walked toward my building, but this time, he didn't knock. He slipped something under my door and left. I waited until his car drove away before approaching it, a single sheet of paper, printed. It was the draft of his next update, the forest one. But at the bottom, in his handwriting, he'd added something new. If she doesn't respond soon, I'll have no choice. No choice. I stared at the words and understood something chilling. He wasn't just simulating a disappearance anymore. He was testing how far he could push before someone stopped him. And if I didn't move faster, he might try to make the simulation real. I picked up my phone, dialed Trina. When she answered, I didn't hesitate. At me, it's escalating. Silence on the line, then her steady voice. Trina, good. That means he's losing control. I looked at the scheduled post time again. 2 days. I could wait 2 days, because once that update went live, he wouldn't be the grieving boyfriend anymore. He'd be the architect, and architects leave fingerprints. The next morning started too quiet. No texts, no flyers, no fake updates, no car in the parking lot, just silence. A pause before something breaks. I checked the admin dashboard again. He still hadn't noticed the scheduled post. Still logged in last at 1:42 a.m. Still operating like he was untouchable. Perfect. I left my apartment by 9 a.m., hoodie up, baseball cap low, head down. My destination was across town, the Balsam Mental Health Center. Chez, a small building with pale blue walls and an ancient vending machine humming in the lobby. I'd never been inside until now, but he had. I asked the front desk for intake verification, gave them my real name and my ID. The receptionist glanced at the screen, blinked. Receptionist. You've been here before? Me. No, but I think someone's using my identity. She looked uneasy. Receptionist. There's an open file under Christina Monroe, same birthday, similar address. Me. I'm Christina Monroe, with a K. Receptionist. He spelled it with a C. Me. Can I see the file? Receptionist. I'll get the director. 10 minutes later, I was in a small room with framed posters about anxiety and trauma. The director, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a tight ponytail, sat across from me. Director. The intake form was submitted online. No in-person consult yet, but someone used your photo, date of birth, and claimed you had paranoid delusions. Me. He's laying the groundwork for when I contradict him. She nodded. Director. You'd be surprised how often this happens. I pulled out my evidence folder, dropped it on the table. Me. You won't be surprised by this. She leafed through the documents. Her eyes widened at the folder labeled scripts. Director. He created this? Me. Every word. Director. And he pretended to be you? Me. And the person looking for me. Her voice tightened. Director. I can file a fraud report from our side. That'll generate a clinic-wide alert if he tries to continue. Me. Good. I want the system to catch him before the story does. She paused at one page. Director. He claimed you were suicidal. I stared at the wall behind her, said nothing, because there's a special kind of cruelty in using your vulnerability as a prop. She cleared her throat. Director. If you ever do feel unsafe, we can help you directly. Not just legally, personally. Me. Thank you. I meant it. Then I left. I stood outside the center and watched the wind drag old leaves across the sidewalk. And I knew what I had to do next. By 3 p.m., I had built the site. My boyfriend is making me go missing.com. I filled it with screenshots, admin logs, IP matches, a digital timeline, my signed affidavit, even a copy of the Balsam intake fraud notice. It was sleek, dark background, clean font, no clutter. One page, just the truth. I didn't attach my name. I let the story speak. And then I posted it. Reddit. Facebook, Nextdoor, anonymous whistleblower subs, local forums. I sent it to online sleuth groups who had been watching the Christina Monroe case for days. Within an hour, I had 1,200 hits. By the end of the day, 12,000. Comments flooded in. Wait, this is her? The whole thing was fake? This is next-level abuse. Protect her at all costs. The internet turned like a tide, not instantly, but with growing momentum. And the best part? I hadn't even used my real name, because it wasn't about me. It was about him, letting his own narrative suffocate itself. The next morning, the post went live. 9 a.m. sharp. Every donor got the email. Every follower got the update. Christina has been located and is safe. The online campaign was initiated without her consent. A legal action is pending. I watched the fallout like a spectator at a slow car crash. He posted a response within 13 minutes on Reddit under Blue Ridge Truth 22. This isn't true. Someone's impersonating me. I'm just trying to help. The replies tore him apart. Bro, stop. You literally made the website. We have the receipts. Gaslight failed. You messed with the wrong girl. He deleted the post. Then his account, then the website. But it was too late. The internet doesn't forget, and neither do I. Jenna called at noon. Jenna, you're everywhere. Twitter, Reddit. People are talking about it at work. Even our boss saw it. Me. What's Caleb saying? Jenna. He left early, looked pale, like he knew something was coming. I smiled. Me. Something was. Jenna. You want me to say anything? Me. No, just watch. Yeah, and wait. She paused. Jenna. You know, you're kind of terrifying. Me. Good. By sunset, the GoFundMe was under review, reported by over 600 people, pending refund, pending investigation. Caleb's accounts were down, his presence erased, and for the first time in weeks, I felt seen, not as a victim, not as the missing girl, but as someone who refused to disappear. I opened my fridge, pulled out a ginger ale, sat on the couch, then my phone buzzed. A new number. Voicemail. I played it. Caleb's voice. Trembling. Caleb, you made me look like a monster. You're destroying everything. You think people care about the truth? They just want blood. You don't know what you started. I saved the voicemail, added it to the archive. Because yes, I knew exactly what I started, and he was just beginning to feel it. By the time the voicemail ended, my phone lit up with another alert. I opened it slowly. The GoFundMe had filed a third-party fraud alert. They were requesting access to original media, communication logs, and verification that I, Christina Monroe, was in fact not missing and had never consented to the fundraiser. I took a breath. Then I opened my Google Drive, zipped the entire narrative control log, and attached it to the reply. I added a short message. Hi, I'm Christina Monroe, with a K, and I'm very much alive. I hit send. Then I stared at the screen. It was strange. The more his lie collapsed, the calmer I felt, like watching rot drain from under your walls after years of pretending it wasn't there. That night, Jenna texted again. Jenna, you might want to see this. She sent a screen recording. It was from a group chat at work. Someone had forwarded Caleb's Instagram story. I hadn't looked at his socials in days. Didn't want to. But I tapped the video and watched. The clip was black and white. Piano music layered underneath. Text over the top. When someone you love turns everyone against you. Then a selfie of him looking out a window, rain streaking the glass. Followed by, not everything you see online is the truth. I almost laughed. He was spinning the victim card, hard, still narrating, still acting. But the likes were gone. The comments, brutal. Dude, stop. You lied. Gaslighting in 4K. Try prison bars next. He took it down an hour later, then made his account private. Too late. It was already screen grabbed, stitched, clipped, memed. One girl on TikTok posted a dramatic reading of his fake flyer with the caption, "When your boyfriend turns your trauma into fan fiction." It got 300,000 likes in 6 hours. That same girl messaged me, "If you're okay with it, I'll keep sharing. People need to know how real this is." I replied, "Please, keep going." Because I understood now. My silence was his stage. But once I started speaking, his script fell apart. The next morning, I walked into the Asheville PD with my file folder and a calm expression. Trina had already called ahead. I met with Officer Daniels again. This time, he looked different, like someone who'd read the comments. Daniels. We pulled Caleb's online history. The Reddit threads were traced to his home Wi-Fi, multiple accounts, and all focused on creating your disappearance. Me. And the GoFundMe? Daniels. Under investigation for fraud. Cross-state donations push it into federal territory. He used Stripe to process some of the payments. That means IRS will see it. I raised my eyebrows. Me. He committed wire fraud? Daniels. An impersonation, emotional coercion, possibly stalking. He tapped a pen against the folder. Daniels. Do you want a no-contact order? Me. Yes. He nodded. Daniels. We'll fast-track it. Then he added, Daniels. You're not the first. Me. Excuse me? Daniels. We got an anonymous message 2 days ago. A woman in Boone said she recognized the flyer format, said she dated a guy 2 years ago who did something similar. My mouth went dry. Me. Same guy? Daniels. She didn't give a name. But the handwriting on the flyer? Identical. My throat tightened. Daniels. We're opening a parallel case. You started something. I stood up, shoulders straight. Me. Good. That night, I opened my window. Not wide, just a crack. The air smelled like pine and rain-soaked pavement. It reminded me I was still real, still here, alive, free. Then came the knock, not on my door, but on my neighbor's balcony. Voices. Muffled. I froze, turned off the lights, stepped into the shadows, then peered through the side of the curtain. He was there. Caleb, hair messy, hoodie pulled up, pacing outside someone else's unit, talking fast, too fast. He looked unhinged, like someone who'd just realized the simulation broke and couldn't find the reset button. I lifted my phone, filmed 30 seconds, then again and again. He left 10 minutes later. Never looked toward my door. Maybe he didn't know I was home. Maybe he thought I'd be gone by now. Or maybe he didn't care about me anymore. Only about the audience. By the weekend, the collapse was official. Local news picked it up. Headline, Asheville woman reclaims identity after boyfriend's fake missing person campaign. They called me brave, a survivor. I didn't feel like either. I just felt awake, alive, and deeply, deeply angry, but in control. The way you feel when you hold the final puzzle piece and know, finally, what the picture is. The picture was never about love. It was about erasure. And my revenge was existence. Trina called me Monday morning. Trina. He's gone. Me. What? Trina. Moved out, no forwarding address, his phone disconnected, all socials deleted. But his name's on file now. Me. Did he run? Trina. Or hide? Either way, the story's out. Me. Good. Trina. You did everything right. I looked out the window. Sunlight slanting through the trees, a blue jay on the rail, life, loud and ordinary. Me. Not everything, but enough. Later that day, I got an envelope in the mail, no return address. Inside, one flyer, my face, that same photo, but with the words, found. Sharpie across the bottom, underlined 3 times. I stared at it, not scared, not surprised, just still. Then I folded it in half, slid it into the back of my file folder, and wrote the date. Because I wasn't finished yet. He resurfaced in a coffee shop. Not here, not in Asheville, but in Greenville, South Carolina. I found out from a Reddit post. A girl named Tara posted a blurry picture to r/creepy encounters with the caption, Guy tried to flirt, then asked if I'd ever thought about vanishing. I zoomed in. There he was. Caleb, denim jacket, coffee in hand, that soft boy smirk that hid something rancid underneath. Tara described him as quiet but intense. Said he asked weird questions about trauma, like he was trying to map it. One comment caught my eye. He gave me a flyer, said his girlfriend went missing. I looked it up. Seems fake now. Fake? Past tense. The digital trail was rotting behind him. All the sympathy, all the shares, dead links now. But the performance hadn't stopped. Just moved zip codes. I DM'd Tara. Me. What was on the flyer? She sent me a photo. It wasn't me this time. Different girl, similar style, blonde, mid-20s, soft smile. An off-center photo like it was cropped from social media. The name? Melanie W. I felt a chill crawl up my arms. He'd started again. The next day, I walked into the county courthouse and requested an update on case number 2024-20311. The clerk at the counter, young guy, maybe 25, looked up the file. Clerk. Open, flagged, and escalated. Me. Escalated how? He leaned in, dropped his voice. Clerk. Cross-jurisdictional inquiry. Your case linked to a similar report out of Boone. Now Greenville PD is involved too. My file was growing legs, becoming something bigger. I stepped outside and leaned against the concrete pillar. The sun was out, but everything felt colder. Because for the first time, I realized Caleb was a pattern, not an outlier. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because of fear, because I couldn't stop thinking. What if this wasn't about me anymore? What if this was a cycle? What if I was just the first one who left a breadcrumb trail that people could follow? I opened my laptop and returned to the flyer he left on my door. Found. That wasn't closure. It was a message. Maybe even a challenge. So I called the number on the old flyer, the fake hotline Caleb had set up. It rang twice, then disconnected. Dead number. But my phone lit up 10 minutes later with a no-caller ID call. I let it go to voicemail, then pressed play. Caleb's voice, distorted slightly, like he'd recorded it through a voice mod app, but still him. Caleb, you should have stayed disappeared. Click. Short, measured, almost smug, but it gave me what I needed. I pulled up my evidence folder and added a new subfolder, threats. Then I called Trina. Name me. He's doing it again. Trina. We're already tracking the Greenville reports. Me. How do we stop him? Trina. We don't. We document him until he stops himself. I hated that answer, but I understood it. People like Caleb don't fall from a single blow. They erode under sustained truth. And now, the truth had momentum. The following week, I printed something new. Flyers. Yes, flyers. But not about me. About him. Title. Have you seen this man's conscience? Below it, a photo of Caleb smiling, holding a coffee cup. Then in bold, he creates fake missing person cases, builds websites, collects money, rewrites women into ghosts. If you've met him, or were told someone is missing, go to myboyfriendismakingmegomissing.com. At the bottom, ask yourself, who benefits from the story? I walked downtown with a backpack full of them, stapled them on bulletin boards, left them in coffee shops, slid them under windshields in parking lots. People stared, whispered, took pictures. A woman at Trader Joe's tapped me on the shoulder. Woman, is this real? Me, yes. Woman, that's terrifying. Me, not if you see it coming. Later that night, I got an email from a blocked sender. Subject, funny. Inside, a single image. My old high school yearbook photo. No caption. No context, just that smiling version of me frozen in time. I stared at it for a while, and then uploaded it to the site under a new page, the versions of me he's trying to rewrite. I added the caption, "This was me at 17. He found it online, used it on a subreddit claiming I'd had a psychotic break since graduation. He thinks he owns my timeline, he doesn't. By the next morning, the site had crashed. too much traffic. It was being shared in podcasts, on Instagram Reels. Even a local radio station in Georgia ran a segment titled "The Boyfriend Who Made Her Go Missing." And the best part? I hadn't said a single word publicly. The story told itself now. And Caleb? He was nowhere. A few unconfirmed sightings. One post said he was in Knoxville. Another claimed to see him sleeping in a car in Chattanooga. No proof, just smoke, like he was already fading, becoming the ghost he tried to make me into. And then came the call, block number. I answered this time. Me. Hello? Silence. Then a breath. Female voice. Christina? I froze. Me. Yes. Voice. I was him before. I saw your site. I just wanted to say thank you. Me. What's your name? Silence. Then voice. Doesn't matter, but you reminded me I'm not crazy. Click. She was gone. But that one call, that was everything. Proof that this wasn't about me anymore. This was about stopping him. I opened my laptop and wrote a new line at the top of the site. He tried to write me out of my life, so I turned the pen around. I expected it to end with sirens, or a mugshot, or a news alert flashing across the screen. But like most things with Caleb, the ending came quietly. A letter, folded, slipped under my door. No envelope, no name. In just 3 words scrawled across the top, "You win, Christina." Inside was a printed photo, grainy, blurry, black and white. It looked like a CCTV still. Him, Caleb, at a Greyhound station, backpack slung low, hood up, boarding a bus headed south. Underneath, scribbled in the same handwriting, "No more games, no more flyers, no more me." I held it for a long time, not scared, not satisfied either, just still. Because what do you do when the monster leaves the woods on his own? Do you celebrate? Or just wait to see where he lands next? I filed the note at the county clerk's office. Case number 2024-20311, updated and sealed. Trina met me in the lobby, handed me a paper. Trina, restraining order, retroactive and extended. He can't contact you for 5 years. If he does, it's jail. Me, is he in the system now? She smiled. Yeah, but Trina, every flag database this side of Tennessee, he's radioactive. We stepped outside. The air felt different, lighter. For the first time in months, I didn't check over my shoulder, didn't scan the crowd, didn't flinch at passing cars. I just existed, like I had permission again. Trina, you gonna keep the site up? Me, absolutely. Trina, why? I looked her dead in the eyes. Me, because predators don't vanish when you stop looking. They relocate. Weeks passed. The online storm faded. New scandals took over. New headlines, new villains. But the site remained. Steady traffic, new submissions, new women. One from Durham, another from Nashville. One as far as Colorado, all with versions of the same story. All thanking me for saying what they were still afraid to admit. That someone tried to rewrite them. Reduce them, erase them. But we were still here, still loud, still visible. Then one morning, I opened my mailbox. Inside, a small cardboard package. No return address. Inside, a single flyer. But not mine. His. A photo of Caleb, smiling, head slightly tilted. The headline read, "Have you seen this man?" Under it, "If you recognize him, beware. He tells stories, and they start with your silence." Taped to the back was a sticky note. Different handwriting this time. It said, "You helped me find my voice. Now I'm helping others find yours." I stood there in my apartment hallway, holding that paper like it was made of glass, because this wasn't just revenge anymore. This was a network, a ripple, a legacy of truth that couldn't be undone by one deleted website or one disappearing man. He wanted to control the story, but the story had outgrown him. I moved out 2 months later. New apartment, new job, new state. Still Christina, still visible. And on the day I unpacked the last box in my new place, I pinned something to the fridge. Not a flyer, not a warning, just a quote. She was never missing, just misrepresented. And below it, a little note I wrote to myself: "You are not a ghost, you are not a rumor, you are real." And you stayed. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.